Okay, this video will focus on the slope of a line. We'll look at some ways for finding the slope given the equation, and of course using the slope formula. So let's look at line forms and some formulas. The standard form of a line has the form ax plus by is equal to c, where a and b are not both 0. Okay. If A is 0 and B is not, then we have basically a horizontal line. If B is 0 and A is not, then we're going to have a vertical line. If A and B, neither one of them is 0, then we're going to have a regular slanted line. Now, the next statement says the slope-intercept form of a line. So this states if y is equal to mx plus b, if the line, or the equation of the line, that is solved for y, then whatever the coefficient of the x is, that's going to be the slope. That's going to be the slope. M will be the slope, and b will be the y-intercept. Because notice if you replace the x by 0, you get the point 0b. So the line tells the line then passes to the point 0b, which of course would be the y-intercept. Okay, and the next one I basically made the statement earlier. A horizontal line is going to have the form y is equal to k. So that's the case up here where a is 0, and you simply have a y in the equation. So if you solve it for y, you'll get y is equal to some number. The second form I have here, x equal to k, so that's the case where b is 0. You solve it for x and you get x is equal to a number. That's going to be a vertical line. And then the slope of a line, m, through 2 points x1, y1, and x2, y2 is defined by this formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, whatever number that is, represents the slope or the incline of the line. Okay. And then the next thing we have is the point slope form of a line. So if you know the line passes through a point x1, y1, then the equation of the line is given by y minus y1 equal to m, the slope, times, in parentheses, x minus x sub 1. Okay, so you can find the slope of a line if you know 2 points, or if you know it's horizontal. If you know it's horizontal, it's going to be easy to find the slope. If you know it's vertical, it's going to be easy to find the slope. So before we go into some more details, let's look at what we have. Okay, so you have a coordinate system. So lines that rise, like the first one that I have here, going up, have a positive slope. M is positive. Over here on the right, lines that go down, the slope is less than 0 or negative. Lines that are horizontal, like this one here, have a slope of 0. And lines that are vertical have undefined slope. Okay. So let me show you why that is true. So let's look at the line y equal to 3. So suppose we have y equal to 3. That's a line. So notice there's no x term. So when x is 0, the y is 3. When x is 1, the y is 3, and so on. So no matter what x is, the y is always 3. So in the formula that I have up here, it says if you want to find the slope of the 2 points, take the difference in the y's over the difference in the x's. Okay, so it doesn't matter which of these you call the first point or the second point. Let's say this 0, 3 is the first point and 1, 3 is the second point. So if the slope then for this one should be m equal to 3 minus 3 over 1 minus 0. But 3 minus 3 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1, so 0 divided by 1 is 0. And of course that's going to be the case no matter what the horizontal line is, because for a horizontal line the y value is going to be constant. So when you take the difference here on top, you're always going to get 0. Okay? So that's why horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Now let's look at let's suppose that this line that I have right here, this vertical line that I have right there, let's suppose that that's 6 units. So if I go over 6, that's the graph. So that means that, notice, there's no y. So no matter what the y is, so let's say y is equal to 0. Y is equal to 0. X is always 6. Now pick x to be, or y to be 1 rather. X is always 6. So 6, 0, 6, 1. And pick any other value you want for y, the x is always going to be 6. So in this case, when you do the difference at the bottom, okay, on top is the difference in the y, so it'd be 1 minus 0 is 1. On the bottom, though, it's 6 minus 6 is 0. Division by 0 is not defined. So vertical lines, then, we say have undefined slope. The slope is not defined for vertical lines. So again, if you know the line is horizontal, you know the slope is 0. If you know the line is vertical, you know it has undefined slope. Any other lines will have slope that'll be positive if they go up, or slope that'll be negative if they go down. So the slope basically gives you the incline of a line. So if I tell you that I have a line that has a slope of 1, okay, so I could write that as 1 over 1, or I could write that as negative 1 over negative 1. That's still 1. So sometimes we talk about the slope as being the rise over the run, or the change in y over the change in x. So that means that if you know a point that a line passes through, you can sketch a graph. So let's suppose I look at this line right here that passes through the origin. So let's say the line passes to that point, and that's all I know. It passes through the point 0, 0. And I wanted to graph it. And let's suppose I knew the slope is 1. Well, if I look at this as 1 over 1, this tells me that if I do the run first, if I go 1 unit to the right, then I have to go 1 unit up to get on the line. So the line passes to that point. So now I can draw the line through those 2 points. Now if I look at it from this perspective, a negative 1 over a negative 1. So in this case, if I do the run first, okay, the x is negative, so I go 1 unit this way to the left, and the y is also negative. I go 1 unit down, then I'm back on the line. Draw the line through those 2 points, and we have it. Okay, so if I tell you that the slope of a line, say, is 2/3, and you know that a line passes through a particular point, so you go to that particular point, and you can get a second point by simply going 3 units to the right and 2 units up, and you have it. Okay. So let's clear this. Now again, this video will focus strictly on the slope of a line. In the next video, I'll go through finding the equation of a line. Given some information about the line, we should be able to find the equation of the line. So let me go back to the formulas again, the main ones that I'm going to look at. So the slope-intercept form of a line tells me that if I have the equation of a line solved for y equal mx plus b, whatever the coefficient of the x is, that will be the slope. And 0b will be the y-intercept. Now if I know the 2 points, if I know 2 points on the line, x1, y1, x2, y2. Then I can get the slope by taking the difference in the y's on top, the difference in the x's, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That gives me this, the slope. So those are the main ones I'm going to be using in this video. And in the next video, I'm going to elaborate on some of these formulas. So let's look at the first problem. Find the slope of the line described. So the line with equation 3x plus 7y. Okay, so if you're given the equation of the line, you should be able to find the slope by inspection. So on this one here, this is given in the standard form, 3x plus 7y is equal to 9. So we know that if we have the equation of the line, we can solve the equation for y, and whatever the coefficient of the x is going to be the slope. Well, you should be able to see that if I solve that for y, the coefficient of the x is going to be negative 3 over 7. So that's the slope, right? Because notice I would have 7y is equal to, take the 3x over, so I change the sign to negative 3x plus 9. Then I would divide everything by 7 to solve for y. So these 7's cancel out, so I get y is equal to negative 3/7 x over plus 9 over 7. So the coefficient of the x is negative 3 over 7. So that's the slope. So in this particular case, this would be a line that decreases or comes down. Okay, lines with positive slope rise, and those with negative slopes fall or decrease. So there's your slope. Now the next one, the line with equation. I want the slope of the line with equation y is equal to negative 6. Well, based on what we said a while ago, this is a horizontal line. This is a horizontal line that passes through the point 0, negative 6. So if it's horizontal, it has to have a slope of 0. M is equal to 0. Okay, that's all there is to that. If they give you x equal to something, then it's a vertical line. The slope is undefined. And then the other one uses the slope formula. So this one, I want the slope of the line passing through the points 2, negative 3 and negative 1, 6. So using the formula, the slope is going to equal 2. So let's say 2, negative 3 is the first point, and negative 1, 6 is the second point. So it's a difference in the y's. Okay, so just be consistent in the subtraction. So here I'm going to go 6 minus a negative 3 over negative 1 minus 2. If I choose to make negative 1, 6 the first point and 2, negative 3 the second point, then I do the same thing, except the subtraction is reversed. It would be negative 3 minus 6, and then 2 minus a minus 1. That would be in the denominator. But in this case, I'm going to say first point, second point. So it would be 6 minus a minus 3 over negative 1 minus 2. So 6 minus a negative 3, that would make it a plus 3. So that would be 9. Minus 1 minus 2 is negative 3. 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So the slope of this line is negative 3. So again, this is one that comes down. It slants in this direction. Okay, so like I said, in the next video, we'll look at finding the equation of a line given some information. So again, as always, please post any suggestions that you have or any questions, and please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.